Hello everyone, I'm seeing you from beautiful and mountainous Hantana. In fact, we are very close to the Ceylon Tea Museum in Hantana. Today we are going to do something very special hike unlike many other hiking trails in Sri Lanka. We are going to start on the first stage of Pekoe Trail. This spans over 300 kilometers across the Sri Lankan hill country, covering most of the tea estate, as well as you can do that in 22 stages. As I told you, this is a well thought out and marked hiking trail in Sri Lanka. As per the organizers, this is one of Asia's best kept secrets. So hopefully we'll be able to manage the stage 1 today, that goes from Hantana to Galaha. And if you know about the Pekoe Trail, that's excellent. But if you don't worry, we are going to tell you all about it during the hike. Right, this is the hiking trail starts. My trekking partner starts the trail. You can see this berg marked at the beginning of the trail. We are continuing our hike through this beautiful Hantana area. In the distance towards right, you can see the Hantana mountain range. It's one of the most beautiful and iconic landmarks in the central province of Kandy. There's a bit of information that I want to share with you about Hantana, maybe when we have done a couple of kilometers. But for the time being, just enjoy this surrounding view, absolutely breathtaking. This is Sri Lanka, the pearl of Indian Ocean, and it has such wonderful scenery and greenery for you to come and enjoy. Pekoe Trail is one of the best options for you to get started your hiking journey in Sri Lanka. Hantana is not only a popular hiking destination but also provides home to these endless number of communication towers. As you can see, this is actually one end of Hantana mountain range and it extends towards Galaha. This is the path that we came uphill on this wonderful Pekoe Trail stage 1. Okay, we actually came along a tiny tea trail, now entered onto this somewhat wide track. I think this is also accessible by vehicles. The name Pekoe has a very beautiful meaning. That means a good quality black tea made from the young leaves of the tea plant. So this name Pekoe has a really good meaning. And you can see my trekking partner continues to track our path on the map, because there are so many small footpaths branching off the tea estate. You need to be really sure as to where you are going. The path is not that well marked in this section, but you can easily find it on Google Maps if you get the offline map. Pekoe Trail originates in Kandy district in Hantana, where we just started, and it runs over 187.96 miles for those who are familiar with the imperial terms, or 302.5 kilometers in metric. It runs through 3 districts: Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Badulla, zigzagging many tea estates, and the end point is at Pedro estate of Nuwara Eliya. Right, we are continuing our journey still in Hantana area. Hantana mountain is to our right now, and there's a beautiful temple to our left. I'll tell you what it is in a little bit, but once again, talking about the Pekoe Trail, I told you it runs through 3 districts over 2 provinces, Central and Uva. The trail starts is at 2,595 feet or 791 meters. Trail end is at 6,217 feet at Pedro Estate, Nuwara Eliya. In meters, it's 1,895 meters. You can see the Hantana mountain range expanding towards Galaha on our right. This is a very important landmark. We have come to a crossroads at 1.4 kilometer mark. From here we have to go uphill on this concrete path. You can see There's also a small signage mentioning the trail details of the Pekoe Stage 1. Let's go uphill and see what we can find out. This is the signage I told you about. We are now going along, climbing gradually on this hill country sport shooting club road. You can see it's well paved concrete road, and to our left you can see the extension of Hantana mountain range. Probably the highest point is also there, approximately 1300 meters. I promised to tell you about Hantana mountain range. Now Hantana was declared as a national protection area in February 2010 under National Environmental Act. It has 7 prominent peaks. Some of them are known as Urakanda, Katusukonda, Uguduwa. If I'm not mistaken, Urakanda is the highest point at 1300 meters. The Hantana mountain ranges from approximately 1050 meters to 1300 meters. In feet, it's about 3445 feet all the way to 4265 feet. Hantana is also one of the main catchment areas of Mahavali River. All the streams originating from Hantana mountain joins Mahavali in and around Kandy. In the surrounding areas north of Hantana mountain range, there is the A1 Peradine Kandy road, railway line and the Mahavali River. Towards the northeast is Dunumandala Forest Reserve, very important area in Kandy. That's where Kandy gets all its water, very protected area, difficult to visit without proper permission from the relevant authorities. And then towards the east, there is a road running actually on our left hand side connecting Hantana to Galaha. Kandy Hantana bus route is also the same. Towards the southeast, there is a small hill called Ambalamana Peak, that is 1160 meters, so 3805 feet in height. To the south is the Nillamba Oya, that's also major tributary of Mahavali River. It originates from Galaha Deltota mountains and flows to Mahavali River between Gampola and Gelioya. And to the west is once again A5 Kandy Gampola road and the railway line and Mahavali River. This is the story about Hantana mountain range. Hantana is very fondly known as Lovers Mountain, especially among the University of Peradeniya students. But then there is another Lovers Peak of Sabaragamuwa, that's known as Adrakanda, which is very popular among University of Sabaragamuwa students. We have come to this beautiful vantage point. Look at the mountain range, Hantana, looking so beautiful and breathtaking in the morning. The sun is coming on our left, lighting this up beautifully. This is the tree cover providing us with some much needed shade. There are also some wasps' nests on these tree branches. Not sure if you can spot them. We have now arrived at one of the significant landmarks on the stage 1. This is the Sugarcane Quarantine Center, approximately 3.1 kilometers from the trailhead. Anyway, we can't go in. You would need special permission. We are going to continue our trek along the Hill Country Sport Shooting Club Road. We continue our journey. Now we have climbed almost to the highest point of the trail. In terms of distance, we have covered close to 5 kilometers. This is a panoramic view of the Hantana mountain range that parallels us on our right, looking absolutely breathtaking. Beyond this mountain range is the Mahavali River and upcountry railway line. This is the path that we came uphill. You can see my trekking partner is enjoying the surrounding views. Look at this. These are the views he's enjoying. In the distance, you might be able to make out a stupa or pagoda. We actually came at the base of that pagoda. Right, okay. we are going to continue our journey. We are continuing our journey, still not yet arrived at the highest point in this trail. Right, let's talk about Pekoe Trail stage 1 between Hantana and Galaha. The total length is 7.96 miles or 12.8 kilometers. We start the trail at an elevation of 2,595 feet or 791 meters. The trail end is at 2,756 feet or 838 meters at Galaha post office. In terms of, the highest point is at 1,068 meters or 3,501 feet. The lowest point is at Galaha bridge. That's where the trail meets the Kandy Galaha road at 2,546 feet or 776 meters. So that's a little bit of information about the Pekoe Trail stage 1. We have now walked close to 5.5 kilometers. The highest point is at 5.7 kilometers. That's where a branch towards a meditation center goes to the right. We shouldn't go there and disturb the meditating monks. Instead, we are going to continue straight. And my trekking partner today, Anna, is coming behind me. The sun is blazing down on us. It's actually the dry season. You can probably make it out on the path. So you need to drink a lot of water and have some good headscarves or hats, and ideally some sunscreen to protect you from this blazing sun. Right, we'll talk about more about the Pekoe Trail in the next stop. This is where we stopped for our breakfast. We actually just finished it. If it is raining, this is like a good place for you to refill your water bottles, provided that you have some water purification tablets. Especially when you are sitting in these kind of rocks, always be on the lookout for snakes and other insects like scorpions. The last thing you need is some snake or scorpion bite when you are on a hike like this in a remote area. We are actually now very close to the highest point in this stage at 1,068 meters. In about 200 to 300 meters we should be able to get there. We talk about that when we get there. Another important milestone. This is on the map marked as Hantana Estate Muster Shed 1. You can see Muster Shed is painted on the wall, and on the left hand side we can see one of the rare arrow marks on this trail. If I'm not mistaken, this is the third such arrow mark. The trail goes uphill to the left. This is another very important landmark. We have now come to the almost the highest point of this trail at 1,068 meters. This road branches to the right towards Udakanda Sri Sangaraja Aranya Senasana. That's how it's marked on the map. That's where you shouldn't be going. Instead, you need to choose the left hand, somewhat tea estate like road. I'll show you that in a minute. This is what the trail looks like when you are climbing uphill. You can see my trekking partner. That's where you have to go. The road branches to the right towards this hermitage. Yeah, there must be monks meditating. You shouldn't go and disturb them. Instead, we are going to continue on the trail marked. We are now climbing uphill still. Looks like there's a bit more to go to the highest point in this section. Afterwards, it would be all the way downhill till Galaha bridge. It's at 11.9 kilometer mark. From there, it's 900 more meters to the trail end. That bit will be uphill towards Galaha post office on Kandy Galaha road actually. Now you can see this tea estate looking so beautiful, and there are some clouds overhead providing some much needed shelter from this blazing hot sun. On our right hand side, as usual, beautiful Hantana mountain range continues. If I'm not mistaken, this is where to the right is the highest point in Hantana mountain range. That's the Urakanda 1300 meters. Katusukonda is also somewhere there nearby. It's approximately at 1250 meters. Now this is a beautiful section of our Pekoe Trail stage 1. Very shady, very green. It helps to cool down a bit, slow down and enjoy the surrounding beauty. Now there's a bit more information about the Pekoe Trail, of how it was founded and the partners. I must give them a mention because it's very important. Thanks to their efforts, we are enjoying this trail and the beauty of Sri Lankan hill country and the tea country. I will tell you about them maybe in a little bit. Now to talk about the Pekoe Trail, this 22 stage over 300 kilometer Pekoe Trail was funded by European Union with additional support from the USA. Total investment from the EU was 5.3 million euros, or at current exchange rate about 1.3 billion rupees. USA had provided further over $700,000, that is approximately 160 million rupees. So in total close to 1.5 billion rupees have been allocated to develop this beautiful Pekoe Trail. You can see there are some workers going on about their daily chores. Pekoe Trail is part of the Serendipity Trails and was done in collaboration with funding from EU, USAID and also IESC, International Executive Service Corps. I believe there is some involvement of the Sri Lanka tourism in this project. So all in all, these people and organizations have got together to do this project. I don't think they have fully completed this project because we saw very little signage have been put up. There was only one signage we could see at the crossroad, which I showed you. In addition to that, there have been very little markings on the trail. So far we noticed only about 4 to 5 arrows in total. Now we have trekked close to 6 kilometers. I wonder whether they are planning on adding more signage, more notice boards in future, because 1.5 billion rupees is a lot of money being allocated to this project. Okay, this is another grand vantage point for us to have a look around. Let me show you that too. This is probably the best waypoint we have arrived at, almost at the highest elevation on this section. We can see in the distance Sandagivi Maha Vihare, that beautiful pagoda in the distance. That's where we came about some time ago, close to 1.2 kilometers. We trekked below that stupa, and also you can see the communication towers on Hantana mountain. We are indeed at the highest elevation on this section now, 1068 meters. We had to trek approximately 200 more meters from where that turn off to the hermitage, which I showed you. Now look at this beautiful panoramic view, people. We were able to make out so many landmarks, and Hantana mountain range continues to be on our right hand side. Let's continue now downhill all the way to Galaha Oya. Here we are now very joyfully going downhill. All this time we were climbing uphill. It was a little difficult. Remember, we are carrying some backpacks as well. Our plan is to go and stay overnight in Galaha and try and do the stage 2 tomorrow from Galaha to Lulkanduru via Deltota. Okay, let's see how we feel at the end of this stage. If we are feeling too tired, we might not continue. Otherwise, we will continue to the stage 2. Anyway, we will talk about it when we are doing that. Now, let's enjoy this downhill journey. This green surrounding and the Hantana mountain range. The highest points are now to our right, that is Urakanda and Katusukonda. Let me try and show you a view because there are so many trees covering the summit points. Okay, there are some notice boards hardly visible. Here is a view of the Hantana mountain, if I'm not mistaken, the highest point possibly. I'm yet to climb this majestic mountain. Maybe I'll get the chance very soon. This is a very important junction. You need to turn right when you are coming downhill. There are some arrows also marked here on the tree and on the side wall there. This is the section we came downhill. Very important aspect of this bit is this is where Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom movie was shot by Steven Spielberg in 1984, if I remember correct. Main character, which was an eccentric archaeologist, was performed by Harrison Ford. Very historic area indeed. We are now trekking along this beautiful forestry trail and Hantana is in front of us now. We took a sharp right turn at the junction, which I showed you a short while ago. You can also hear some birds in the background because there are lots of trees. Must be plenty of bird nests. And it was so nice to be able to walk through that last bit of section where Indiana Jones movie, the Temple of the Doom, was shot by legendary film director Steven Spielberg and also legendary actor Harrison Ford. To be honest, I'm yet to watch that movie. I was actually holding on until I completed this section so that when I watch the movie, that would bring back some wonderful and pleasant memories. You can see my trekking partner is taking a break, much needed water break. You need to have plenty of water, especially when you are trekking in dry season. If you come in the wet season, you need to be ready for leeches, ideally wearing some leech socks or some leech repellent. They would be plentiful in this section especially. You can see Hantana right in front of us and on to the right. My goodness, there's a nice view of Hantana. Let me show you that too. Look at this majestic rocky Hantana. Absolutely out of this world. So breathtaking. She's inviting us to come and conquer her. Maybe another day, lady. I will surely come and see you. I'm just walking you through this bit so that you can get an idea of the beautiful nature surrounding this trail. There's a lot of winds too, so we might capture some wind noise as well. If that's the case, you would have to reduce the volume and just watch the environment. We are now almost at the 50% mark of our trail, that is 12.8 kilometers. Now we have trekked 6.4 kilometers. Another beautiful view of Hantana mountain. Amazing indeed. We are going to bid farewell to this beautiful Hantana mountain range. She has been with us all along the journey on our right hand side, protecting us, sheltering us, and now it's time to say goodbye to her and head towards Galaha. Talking about Galaha, here's the main road towards Galaha, which is very well carpeted. I feel so sad to leave this beautiful lady behind. She was so amazing and I feel so bad to leave her behind. Anyway, we have to continue our journey towards Galaha. Let's get going then, people. Here is another signpost put up by the Pekoe Trail. Now we are in the area known as Kitul Mulla. You can read the information. This is the second such signage we came across. So far we have trekked 7.5 kilometers. Another beautiful viewpoint. We are now looking towards Galaha Pupurassa. You can also see a pagoda on a small hill that is known as Bhadravati Temple. Another grand viewpoint where you can go and enjoy the view towards Kandy, especially Hantana mountain range. We have to go all the way to that Galaha town. We are continuing our journey towards Galaha. Now we have trekked about 8.6 kilometers, which means we have 4.2 more to go. There's one important thing that I have to tell you. On our left hand side, Hantana Galaha road continues parallel. On the right hand side, Hantana mountain range, the last bit of Hantana mountain range extension continues. And once again on the left hand side, parallel to the Hantana Galaha road, you can also see some locals going about their daily chores. On our left hand side, once again parallel to Hantana Galaha road, there is a water stream. It's actually a branch of Galaha Oya. She joins with Galaha Oya close to the Galaha bridge at 11.5 kilometer mark. Then we cross Galaha Oya at 11.9 kilometer mark towards Kandy Galaha road. Galaha Oya then flows downstream, join with Nilamba Oya. Together they flow to Mahaweli between Gelio and Gampola as Nilamba Oya. Some people pronounce it as Nilamba Oya, Nilambe Oya. We are now walking through another beautiful village road. You can see this side wall made of black stones. Typically these are found in surrounding Knuckles area, the villages in and around Knuckles. However, it's not unusual for people to build such walls to protect the soil, stop soil erosion, using the black stone available freely in their area. Especially this area has lots of black stones, so I'm not surprised they are making use of it. There is my trekking partner enjoying the distant views towards Galaha. Straight in front of us we can see Pupurassa, that Bhadravati temple, and the pagoda. On our right hand side, Hantana doesn't want to leave us just like that. She continues. Now this is towards the very end of her sloping towards Galaha. I think we are coming into another junction. Let's see where we have to turn around. We are now at 9.5 kilometer mark. On our left hand side there is the Donley Bungalow Galaha group. This is also marked on the Google Maps, so it's easy for you to identify and mark your trail. And we take the right turn. This area is also quite prominent. You can see it's a forestry area with lots of massive trees. We will continue this towards the Kandy Galaha road, passing few more line houses down below. You can probably hear lots of birds in the background. This is actually a really nice area. I don't mind walking through this area at all. There was a lot of wind, especially in the last 2 kilometers or so, and it helped us walk rather easily. It was such a soothing feeling. Now we have been trekking for the last 4 hours or so. We are going to take a nice little break somewhere here, have some water, and continue our journey from there. Here's another section of this path lined with enormous trees. That's also very well paved concrete road. We are slowly going downhill. It's been downhill all the way, and from the highest point which we showed you, that was a beautiful vantage point where we saw magnificent views towards the path that we came. We continue this. Once again guys, remember it's important to have your Google Maps ready, because this is still not marked 100%. There are some routes that you will have to find on your own using the map. I would recommend loading the GPS trail available onto your Google Maps and use it as the main guidance. Load the Google Maps offline usage and then use it as much as possible while keeping an eye on these trees and rocks for possible arrows. So far we came across about 7 such arrow marks, maybe 8, and there were 2 prominent signboards which we showed you. Now if you ask me whether there could have been any other such signage, it's really unlikely, but once again we might have missed them. Now we are looking towards Galaha mountain range. That's where the Galaha originates from. These are the little treats that help you enjoy and relax on the way. Beautiful tree with plenty of shade. We are now very close to B364, which is Peradeniya Deltota Wikilla Gaskada road. In other words, Galaha Kandy road. We are walking through a very fertile area. You can see various kind of farming, tea, then pepper, areca nut, cloves, cinnamon. So many things are being grown here by the villagers. Now so far we have walked close to 11.5 kilometers. On our left hand side, if you remember, I was telling you about a water stream that was flowing to Galaha. That water stream is now merging on our left hand side. Unfortunately I can't show you that, with the proper Galaha coming from the Galaha Deltora mountains. That Galaha we will be crossing in about 400 meters when we reach B364 or Galaha road. Then the Galaha flows downstream to join Nilambe Oya. It's also known as Nilambe Oya. Nilambe Oya originates from Piduru Conservation Forest, part of the Lulkandura estate, and Galaha merges with Nilambe Oya. Together they flow to Mahaweli as Nilambe Oya. I think I've told you about this when I was talking about Hantana mountain right at the beginning of our journey. Now we are almost close to midday. I think about 11:30 am. Our trekking speed being about 2 kilometers an hour, or probably a little more than that, maybe 2.5. Right, okay, let's see what we can spot before we cross the Galaha Oya. Here we have arrived at B364 Galaha bridge, the lowest point in our Pekoe Trail stage 1. Now we are going to take a shortcut through the pinus forest behind us and get back on the B364 until Galaha post office. That's where the trail ends. This is the shortcut that we have to go uphill on this pinus forest. Very steep. You can see my trekking partner is going uphill with difficulty. We are looking back towards the lowest point in the trail, 2546 feet or 776 meters, B364 Kandy Galaha road. Here we are on B364. We have to now go up this road towards Galaha town, where we will end our journey at Galaha post office.